Patrick will now demonstrate the basic polarity session as taught by Pierre Panettiere, and his model for this session will be Myra.
So we're going to begin with what's called the cradle hold. Your left hand's going to be over the top of the right, and the fingers, the thumbs, are touching the index fingers so that you direct the energy straight down your hands like this. Now, the 10th cranial nerve runs down the side of the neck, so that's the first thing that we want to do is just make contact with the person and give them what is a relaxing, very relaxing manipulation, and let them tune into us and we'll tune into them. In a polarity treatment, the ideal thing to do is to not to think, just feel. I'm going to take my neck and feel it up to the side, and I'm going to put my left hand here, and then I'm going to put my right hand in here like that, and I'm going to touch my thumb to the index finger, and then I'm just going to hold and see what I feel. This manipulation will hold for about 20 or 30 seconds. Alright, now the second manipulation is called a neck stretch. If you take your two fingers like this and just slide it up the neck, you'll catch two little holes right there, right under the occipital ridge. In acupuncture, these points are called gallbladder 20. So you just put a nice, firm but gentle pressure there, and with your left hand, you lay it across the top of the forehead, and you gently stretch the neck. And with your thumb of the left hand, you put it on the fontanelle. And again, you'll hold this for about 20 or 30 seconds. All right, and now we move to the shoulder rock. There's 5 lines. If you take the shoulders from where the clavicle meets the scapula, this corner, from the neck, and divide it into 5, the 5 currents of ether, air, fire, water, and earth. So you're going to begin where the neck meets the top of the shoulder, and you're just going to slightly push in until you feel a little resistance, and then you can rock. Rocking is a rajasic type of manipulation. You can rock and then hold. And that's the ether current near the neck. Now as you move to the second current is the air current, where you normally are going to feel more blockage. Because people have more blockage in their shoulders because they're always thinking. And thinking has to do a lot with the air element. Their mind is always going lickety-split. So then you press in and rock, and then you can hold. If you make a light touch, that's a sattvic, more balancing touch. The rocking is more energizing, rajasic. And then if you want to go in deep to disperse the energy and make the electrons find new fields, this is a tamasic manipulation where you go in deep and hold. And I go out to the third current, which is the fire current. I rock. And then the fourth current, which is the water current. And I rock. And the fifth current, which is earth. Ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And then after I do the work out the shoulders, and I walk to the side, and I find the navel with my thumb. I place my thumb in the navel. In my hand, I just lay below the navel, and this field, martial arts, is known as the Dan Tian, the lower Dan. And then with the eye center is the upper Dan. Of course, the respiratory center is the middle Dan in martial arts. In yoga, the kundalini energy is right behind the center in the sacrum in the back. And the energy of the mind is the rational pole. The energy in the sacrum is the irrational, driving force, the negative pole of the mind. That's to do with reproduction. Very powerful energy. So you balance this field with the field in the head. This field is a negative field, and the field in the head is positive. My left hand is negative, so you put a negative on a positive, and you put a positive, if my right hand is positive, on a negative field. And so you automatically have an energy flow. Now, if you're working on somebody who's hyper or tense, you may not want to rock them a lot. But normally, you're going to use the heel of your hand to rock them a little bit. And then you stop and feel for the energy movement between your hands. And I'll do this 3 or 4 times. And then I'll move down and work out the feet. Now, polarity is whole body reflexology. It's not just the feet. Dr. Stone taught us to do reflexology. It's great, but if you only balance the negative poles, you still have the positive and the neutral poles that are not balanced. So this is part of it to work the feet out, but also the whole body we work out in polarity. So the first thing that we're going to do is work out 4 points right across the ankle, and then it can come up from the 45-degree angle right here on the foot. I'm going to work that point out. And always there's a polarity set up between the 2 hands. So I'm going to take her right heel and set it in my right palm. And I'm going to press right under this point right here. And I press in the fat part of my thumb, and then I push the ball of the foot. Now, this flexation like this, you can take a pretty good pressure, and it feels good. And I don't press off to the side, I press straight into the foot, straight into the leg. And then I alternate here and here. And then I move my thumb down just a little bit more, and I find this spot right here, and I press, alternate, press, alternate. And then I move around. It's almost like a half movement. I move into this point right here. These are all active points, and all polarity points. And then I press, and I flex. And then I move down to this point right here, 1 point, prostate point on the man, and I press, and then I flex. Press and flex. Now, whatever I do on the right side, I always do on the left side. But demonstrating, I'm just going to move to the left side so that you can see me work out the outside of the foot. So on this side, I'm going to start again here by the external malleolus, or the ankle bone, in other words, the external ankle bone. And I'm going to begin here, and this time I'm going to extend. But when you extend this foot, the tendons are much more tender and more vulnerable. So you want to make it very gentle as you extend. And I just work out all along the ankle bone on the outside. And I alternate pressing and extending. Now the energies always cross at the ankles. The ankles are neutral. The feet are negative. The ankles, all the joints in the body are neutral. So the energies cross here, so this is a big energy point, even in acupuncture and in polarity, so I just want to put some pressure on that point and push. Just like that, I hold and I push the foot into that point. Now, when we get to the toes, there's really 2 things a person can do. Myra's toes are more wata, more air toes, so her toes are more long. Now, I know that her joints are strong, so there's no problem with really pulling her toes, but some people who have long toes, if you pull their toes, it hurts. So for them, if you look in Dr. Stone's book, first of all, you can just massage down the energy line. This energy line is deeper with the big toe, and it goes all the way down. And then air, and fire, and water, and earth. So first of all, you can just kind of stretch the toe a little bit and massage down the energy line. All the way down. Now, with a person who has the longer toes like this, as Dr. Stone demonstrates, you put your fingers right underneath their toes just like this, this is the air part of the lungs, the reflexology. So that puts pressure right there, and you're just going to stretch the toes down like that and give a little bit of pressure. Now, normally, if we can look at Edie's toes, if she can come up, do you mind demonstrating, and we'll look at Edie's toes. Now Edie has shorter toes. So these are the kind of toes that you want to pull and stretch with a pull. And that feels good to the person. Now I've found that normally the big toe is not going to pop, although it does sometimes. But the way that you're going to grip the toe is to grab right by the root of the toe with your right thumb, and then put your left thumb over the top, and you just take the slack out and give it a little yank, like that. And then you go down the whole line, and you pull each toe. And this doesn't hurt. The only time that you would not pull somebody's toes is if they have arthritis. And again, like I said, people who have longer toes, it doesn't feel that good to them as it does with a person with shorter toes. Let's go all the way down and work out all 5 of the parent toes. Keep their F, I, one, and Earth. And I'm just going to put a little bit of attention, and thank you for sharing her toes with us. And we'll switch back to Myra right now. Okay, so now I do everything on one foot, and I do it on the other side, and now I go to the hand. Now the trick to doing this manipulation correctly is to walk in between the arm and the body. So I put my body right between the arm and her body, and there's a spot right there in the thumb web, which is a very powerful point called Hoku, or it's just called the thumb web point in Polarity. And then the elbow point right here. Now on the right side of the body, this relates to the liver. But when I press these 2 points, it's going to affect the whole right side of the body. So I just am going to alternate back and forth, boom, 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 just like that, back and forth. And most of the time you can torture a person in this position. So if they're not feeling some pain, then you probably haven't got the right spot. And just back and forth, and I work that out pretty good. And then the next thing I'm going to do is a shoulder rotation. Now if you see my hand in Myra's wrist, it's actually moving the circle. But when I'm pulling, I'm applying the pressure on the downward part of the circle. And I just lightly pull because I want to move this part of the trapezius as I pull. So I just circle around and I pull lightly. Now I don't have to hold her elbow to push. If I just turn her wrist like that a little bit, I'm going to push on the downward part of the circle and rotate it in the opposite direction. Now I'm going to flip the wrist. Just hold my thumbs underneath and flip the wrist. And then I'm going to pull the fingers. When I pull the fingers, I'm going to put her fingers right in between my index and middle finger. So with the thumb, you don't pull that too hard because you can strain somebody's thumb. So you can just go 1, 2, 3, and then with the elbow. If you want to be really cool, you can go up higher, and you can even go all the way up to the shoulder. So 1, 2, 3. With the fingers, I can pull harder than I did on the thumb. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then with the little finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now I want to again work out the liver in that side of the body. I'm just going to cradle her arm just like this. All of these manipulations should be comfortable. And I'm just going to brush with my thumb like that, right over that point. It's going right to the liver area. And I brush, and then I rock right underneath. Here's the rib cage right here. Here's the top of the ilium. My hand is right underneath there like that, and I rock, and then I brush, and I rock, and I brush. Do that a few times, and then I lay the hand by the side. And the diaphragm, one of the large muscles in the body, comes right underneath the rib cage, just like that, and makes that big dome. And if you look at the top of the foot, from the ankle to the ankle, from the internal malleolus to the external malleolus, it makes that same arc. And then remember that point we were pressing just a minute ago, stomach 41, which is right here. This point I'm going to use as a distal point to affect the diaphragm. And then with my fingers, I'm going to very gently go underneath the rib cage. So I rock, and then I just gently go underneath, and I turn my hand. I don't go in straight like that. I turn my hand to the side, and I go in very gently, and then I alternate. And I start from the middle, and then I go all the way out to the side. And then when I get below the 12th rib, then I'll stop. And then I'll have Myra turn over on her stomach, and we'll work out the spine. Now again, in the spine, you've got the positive pole is at the top, the negative pole is at the bottom. But I'm so positioned that my right hand, being the positive, when I contact the negative pole, and my left hand, being negative, contact the positive pole. Just by holding, there's a circulation of energy and a movement of the cerebral spinal fluid, which is formed in the ventricles of the brain and goes down the dural tube, down the whole spine, down to the sacrum. So just by making a contact, the cerebral spinal fluid is circulated. And Dr. Stone points out in his books that circulation of the cerebral spinal fluid is more important than even spinal adjustment. So by making just such a simple contact as putting my right hand on the sacrum and my left hand on the back of the neck, I do an energy balance technique. And if I just want to add a little stimulation, then I'll do some rocking, and then I'll hold. There's a lot of detailed polarity relationships in the spine, but the base of the spine is the ganglion of empire. At the tip of the coccyx is the most negative part of the body. So a positive finger, which this is neutral ether, negative air, positive fire, negative water, positive earth. So I'm going to take a positive fire finger, and I'm going to touch it to this negative part of the spine, the ganglion of empire at the tip of the coccyx. And I don't spread my fingers out like this. I turn them all in so that directs all the energy to that area. And with my left hand, I'm just going to slowly walk up and shake each one of the spinous processes. The transverse processes that come out from the side of the spine require deeper pressure, but the spinous process at the tip of the spine, the little bump that you feel on the spine, all it requires is just a very gentle shake. So you just go up very slowly on the spine and give each one of these little guys a gentle shake and ask them how they're doing, and just let them know that everything's okay. You just go up all the way, and you just kind of educate yourself on Myra's spine, see what it's like. Now just slowly go all the way through the dorsals, as Dr. Stone called them, or as they're more known in these days, the thoracic area. And when I get to the top of the thoracic area, which is actually the 7th cervical, the big bump, then I'm going to stop there, and then I go right behind this little bump in the back of the head. I can't remember the name of it right now. The cranial notch. I go right to that cranial notch. I make a contact with this finger, which is a negative air finger, whereas the other finger is a positive fire finger. So I make a contact below the cranial notch with the air finger, and then if you see the apex of the ears, I go right up there and I make a contact on the top of the head with the air finger, and then the last part is the reflex of the sphenoid bone, which are like wings that fly through the middle of the head. And I make a contact here at the third eye center. So this is the positive pole, and the negative pole is the tip of the coccyx, the ganglion of empire. And these two areas are related to each other, and this balances them by just making the contact. And I just let myself go and don't try to want anything to happen. I just let my mind be empty. I don't pray or wish or hope. I just try try to be empty and feel the energy move. All right, the last thing that we're going to do on the spine in the general treatment is the parasympathetic nerve manipulation. So in the back of the neck are the parasympathetic nerves, which the parasympathetic nervous system, there's three nervous systems: the central nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, and the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system has to do with states of meditation, relaxation, inwardness. It's centripetal. And the sympathetic nervous system is outward going. It's pride or pride. And it's more to do, more of a yang energy. And when we're moving outward, it's centrifugal in its effect. So the sympathetic nervous system is above the tip of the coccyx. So if I go below the tip of the coccyx 1/4 of an inch, and I just make a contact here, light contact, and then I just lay my hand there, and then with my left hand, I'm going to lay it here on the side of the neck that affects the vagus nerve. And this is a very relaxing manipulation. And with my right hand, I can gently rock, and then I can squeeze a little bit here, and then I just hold and feel for the energy. And on this manipulation, like all other manipulations, what I do on one side, I'll do on the other. On the spinal walk, though, you only do that one time because the base of the spine is positive and negative, and the top of the spine is negative. So you wouldn't do that on both sides. But this manipulation, normally I would walk around to the other side of the table and do this manipulation on both sides. And this is very good for pregnant women. It's very comforting and relaxing, and it balances the 5-pointed star, which has to do with female energy, and the parasympathetic nervous system, and it's very comforting. So on the back, I'll just bring the Prashnaya off a little bit, and you should feel fairly relaxed right now. You should turn over slowly, and I'll do the last manipulation for the basic treatment. So the cranial rhythm, if you feel a person's head, you can feel that the cranial bones are not dead. They're not like frozen. When we see a skeleton, we tend to think that the cranium is actually something that is frozen in matter, but the cranial bones are always expanding and relaxing and expanding and moving in and out. And you can feel that rhythm. And the effect that it has on the rest of the body is very profound, and you don't have to make very strong treatments to affect the cranial rhythm in a positive way. And it affects the cranial rhythm in that we have more energy flow through the brain and the central nervous system to all the organs in the body. So the first thing that I'm going to do is called a triangle of the occipital. And with my fire finger of the left hand, I'm just going to go to that point, gallbladder 20. That's that little hole about 1.5 inches out from the spine. There's a little spot right below the occipital, and I make a contact there. And then with my right hand, I'm going to touch the eyebrow just on this side, and then I'm going to lay my hand just like this. And I just hold like that. So I'm making a crisscross current, a diagonal, from one side of the head in the back where the motor nerves are to the front part of the body where the sensory nerves are. So you're balancing the sensory with the motor. And of course, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You may not be able to see it as well. And I just touch here like that and make the contact. So that's the first cranial hole. It's called a triangle of the occipital. Now the second cranial hole, this is very simple. I'm just going to touch my thumbs together so there's an energy flow between my two hands. I'm going to put her ears right in between my ring and index finger. And I touch my thumbs together over the head, and I just lightly hold. This makes the energy circulate from left to right to balance the left and right brain. And I just hold that and feel for the energy. And then the last cranial manipulation, I just slowly pick her head up, and I slide these two fingers in the back. Are going to go on gallbladder 20 with two holes in the back, which reflects the front and the eyes. And I just let her head sit right there, And then with this hand, my left hand, I'm going to make a vortex. I touch the eyebrows. These two fingers, the index and little finger, come right above the iris of the eye, and my thumb goes about a half an inch directly behind the hairline in the middle of the forehead. And I make a vortex with my left hand, and this balances the motor nerves in the back with the sensory nerves in the front. And I just hold that for a few seconds. And then our last manipulation is balancing the chakras, the fire chakra with the eye center. I take my thumbs and I don't hold my fingers out like that. I turn them in, like this and like this. And then I just slowly come up in an arc like that. And then I just brush Mara off and leave her to relax. And before we end this, I want to make one note. The normal dress in a polarity session, you ask the person just to undress to their underwear and you cover them with a sheet. Although we didn't do this with Mara because we wanted for a demonstration. So that ends the basic polarity treatment.